Okay, this next question. I'm not depressed, but I don't care if I die soon and find that there is no place in the world for me. I don't know how to explain it to my parents and sound rational. What can I do? I'm not sure how old you are, but I'm assuming that you're a teenager. And as a parent of 3 teenagers, I always want them to tell me stuff. Or they don't want to tell me something, the more I want to know. So if you feel that there's no place for you in the world, it's just possible that you're a very old soul like myself. And you kind of feel like regardless how young you might be, you feel kind of been there, done that, because you've been to this planet, this world so many times, hundreds, thousands of times, maybe hundreds of thousands of times. And you just feel like if I die, that's fine. If I live, that's fine as well. The thing is, because you're having a human experience, even though your soul may be super old, you're here for a reason, not necessarily going to be to, make yourself happy. You may be cleaning up karma, your original tribe, whatever planet, that it came from, or did damage to the earth, killed a lot of people, hurt a lot of people. What you're here is, in all your lifetimes, is to heal karma. And once you've healed that karma, you can move on to not coming back to the earth again, that you would become pure energy, and that's all you are, is pure energy, no ego, just in the loving, and you're helping people, but from an energetic level. For this time, which could be your last time around on this earth, it's really to get involved in spiritual things, do as much reading as possible, and always trust your gut. Your gut will tell you which direction to go. The reason I answer questions for people on Quora, it's to heal karma of my tribe from somewhere, I can't remember if it was 200 years after Christ or 200 years before. But either way, I'm the only one left from my tribe that agreed to stay to undo all the karma that they did, a couple thousand years ago. And so for yourself, that's what you want to think about. I'm 52 years old, so I didn't just come to this. This is within the last couple of years. I've been on a spiritual path my entire life, but was always very misunderstood because I was such an old soul. And I didn't know this. I didn't find this out till I started working on my master's in spiritual psychology. You're probably just someone that's so far ahead of your time that you can almost just not make connection with people, because a lot of times feeling like you don't care is because you're not connected. You have to be connected to something. I have my kids that I'm connected to, and that gives me a reason to care about dying. I'm not worried about dying because, again, I feel like I've been here so many times. The opposite of depression is joy. It's about finding joy, because where you say you're not depressed, but you're probably joyless. But the fact that you don't care whether you live or die, that shows a lack of connection. And so you have to find something, like I was talking about with my children, that you find joy in. Maybe helping people, just like this Quora. I find so much joy answering in answering this question, trying to help you out. That brings me joy. So you want to look for things where you find joy. And when you don't know how to explain it to your parents and sound rational, unless they vibrating at a very high energetic level for them to be able to understand where you're at. And maybe the reason that you feel like you can't talk to them is because you already know they're not going to understand. So what's usually going to happen, I know if my kids have any challenges, I want to fix it. That's just the nature of being a parent. Or at least that's my nature. I want to fix. I don't want my kids ever to have to suffer. Although that's just a part of life. That's how you grow, and that's how you can go on and be able to move on and lead the world forward, is by your own experiences. I would give your parents the benefit of the doubt. I'd love my kids to do that, to do that anytime. I want them to feel they can come in with anything. Most likely what's going to happen is you're going to share that. I don't know what your parents do for a living. I don't know their socioeconomic background. I don't know any of these things, so it's tough to tell. I do pick up them maybe being a little more serious. Your father being more of a practical person. So maybe that's one of the reasons why you feel like you have to sound rational for them to understand. Maybe your father or both your parents or your mother has a science background, so that's how their brain's going to work, and there's not a whole lot. But give them the benefit of the doubt. Just let them know that you're not depressed. You just don't feel like you belong in this world. Most likely they're going to say you're depressed, because therapists and scientists and things like that, they don't really deal with the spiritual aspect so much. It's more of what they can see, smell, touch, and taste. They want to come up with a rational answer to something that isn't rational. It's just like religion, where you just have to have that knowing, where you just believe that something is such. What I'm saying is definitely bring it up to your parents, but be prepared for them not to understand, and be prepared for them to want to put you on medication and send you to a therapist. As far as the medication, for somebody that's bipolar or schizophrenic, they have to do that because they're a danger to themselves and others. They can be. It doesn't sound like, from this little that I'm reading and just what I'm picking up from you, I just pick up someone that's very low key, doesn't make a big deal out of things. And so that's another thing. Part of this could be the way that you were raised, that maybe if your parents were very rational, very sound, that you being able to be excited about something, maybe that wasn't there. Maybe they don't get excited about things. There's many aspects to this, whether it's spiritual, emotional, chemical. As you can tell, I like to examine every aspect, break it down, or I'll take something spiritual and I'll rationalize it. So it makes sense to me, at all levels. Most likely what they're going to do is want to send you to a therapist. And you know what? Any experience that you have always leads to learning and always leads to growth. So even if you don't feel like you need a therapist, most likely your parents are going to recommend that and want you to go. I would go and I would check it out. And who knows, maybe you have one that's more a spiritual therapist that looks at things like I do and can really help you out. And the reason that I'm filming this versus answering it, typing it up, is I really want to engage with people. I really want to help people out. So I would really appreciate if you tell me, what you end up doing and tell me what the results are. That really means a lot to me. Thanks a lot, and let me know.